I have a stock and review with Mastercard. Mastercard had some announcements this morning. If you look at their earnings announcement, those came in and they beat expectations. And a lot of that is primarily due to the fact that they are still continuing to be very profitable in their business model, as well as they did not see a lot of the economic slowdown in their portfolio until the latter months into the March time period. So as you can see, if we look at the week time period, look at what happened overnight. So if I go to yesterday, going into earnings, they actually were at 269, 270, and they have popped since then. They are all the way up to 273. And just looking at the week, I think that we're going to see a continuation this morning. Hopefully the video is out before the market opens. But as you can see, they are climbing. And this is because they made the announcements, we are seeing a normalization of consumer spending. So what does this mean? As the economy opens up, as additional cases of the coronavirus decline, people are starting to spend their money again, and Mastercard and the sympathy play Visa are able to highlight, hey, we're seeing an increase in consumer activity. So there are two reasons I really like the continuation of Mastercard in terms of, hey, we should play on this. Is one, I'm going to show you their 3-month total for long-term investment. I don't think that we're going to see as long a run up to get back to these previous highs like we would on some other stocks, namely because we're really only about a $50 off, but that's only about a 20% decline from where we were just 3 months ago, which was the all-time high. So I think that we can get back to that point with Mastercard. The reason for that is because everyone is holding on to their money right now. There is a glut of savings in the United States, and there's been discussion around deflation and other items. So what can we do is, as soon as we finally get news of a vaccine, or as the economy opens up and people really believe that things are going to slow down, as we are going to see a boom in consumer spending. And that is how Mastercard drives profitability, drives revenue. So as we're looking at this, I think that we are going to see this continuation. So there's two ways that we can play it. One is we can buy shares in the stock. And I do think that if you have the capability, Mastercard is a good long-term investment. If you look over the past 5 years, you saw nearly 200% increase, as well as this technology is not going away, as well as they are making strides to expand their digital payments into China, not without competition, but any market share they gain there is going to be a huge boon. The second component is they are very profitable. So when we're looking at EPS, this isn't really showing the whole picture for this organization, because think of the payments that every person is making. They're getting that percentage of, and it's really all processing power. So there's one way we can play, which is that long-term hold. Again, we're seeing a huge increase even if we're able to go just from the current price of 273, which I anticipate by market open is probably going to be higher, all the way up to the 350s that we were nearing earlier. So I think that this is a group that we could see crest 350 and a new all-time high by the end of this year. So what if we say, hey, this isn't necessarily the play I want to make, is hold on to the 273. Well, if we look at the options, and I do want to highlight, these have not been updated since the market opened. So you'll see these at 9:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time this morning get updated. These are going to change, and I anticipate they're going to get more expensive. So what am I looking to potentially do? I'm looking at these far out, the August, October time period of what can we look at, and look how expensive these are. Yes, they're high, but the advantage here is I'm looking at the 300 range. So the reason that I highlight this is if these drop at all, which I think they most likely will a little bit if the market continues to sell off today, is if I can get in here for under $1,000, or maybe even look at a debit spread. So if we're looking at something like this, then as you can see, this is only going to cost me $170, but there is a huge capability to make a profit here, particularly if we continue to see a rise in card profitability and in consumer spending, which I anticipate we will do so. The other thing that I want to highlight is, even from trade war news, as you can see here, it did have an effect on the portfolio, but even by the end of that year into the middle of the following year, there was still a spike in consumer spending. So again, the fact that people are going to continue to spend despite extenuous circumstances provides a strong case for Mastercard. So I do like the options here. I'm going to be watching these premiums because they can get pretty expensive. But even a run up by the end of the week, I don't think that these are going to be the same price at go live, but I even think you could score a easy win by the end of the week, if depending on what these prices are. So watch that premium run up. So I like Mastercard. I think Visa is a good play as well. Maybe I'll talk about them a little bit, but right now I think Mastercard is the play. So if you found this content helpful and engaging, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.